What's up, everyone? It's your boy BLAZEDxENFERNO.
And I'm Eknight117, and you're listening to episode 80 of the Infernal Gaming Podcast.
We're recording this episode 313 at about 1:47 a.m. in the morning, man. So the episode was supposed to drop yesterday, but I've been busy. Eknight been busy.
Yep.
It came out late. We apologize. Maybe I'll do something for y'all to make up for it. I mean,
he's gonna twerk on stream.
No, but
yeah.
I mean, maybe I'll do a little something for y'all, man. But we got a good show for y'all today. Should be a nice little sweet one for y'all, man, because it's late, man. We probably kind of tired. I just got off of work and shit, you know what I mean? But if you're new to the show, just know you can listen to us on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts and more. Links are in the description. Check out our personal links as well. Remember to rate the show 5 stars on Apple and Spotify to help us grow. And also make sure you like the YouTube video if you're watching on YouTube. Y'all not really watching on YouTube anymore, but y'all watch it on the other platforms. Just make sure you hit that motherfucking like button.
Some fucking gameplay in the background. You'll be all right.
Maybe I'll do that with this one. I don't know.
Just put Helldivers gameplay in the background.
Throw an old stream up.
Just throw your old VOD up. That's it. That's like sometimes, like in podcasts, like sometimes people want to watch them, sometimes people listen to them, but it's always good to have something going on in the background. It's in video form.
Yeah, I'll think about that with this one, man, because this one's coming out late anyway. I mean, but yeah, man, we back with it. This one's gonna be a short one. Like, we ain't got a lot to talk about, but I just want to put something out there for y'all to digest. I was trying to get episode 80 to be a music podcast, but Warren's been busy, Bird's been busy, so we really didn't get to do that. I've been busy, so it's just been one of those things where I kind of forgot, like, oh shit, we gotta record a podcast. So
yeah,
I apologize for
that. We were supposed to do this last night, and I'm like sitting here waiting.
Yeah, man, and I was fucking playing Overwatch with the gang, man.
Yeah,
playing Overwatch. And didn't even look at my phone. Like, oh shit, he said to record tonight. Oh fuck.
Yeah.
I mean, so that's my bad. But we here now, man. We got a good. You know what I mean, let's start off with a little small conversation to get the ball rolling, man. Get our minds working and stuff like that. So, Helldivers 2, right? We spent a whole bunch of time talking about it on the last podcast. We're not going to talk about it a lot this podcast. We both love the game. We both think the game is amazing. Probably I can't say that anymore. It's probably Eknight's game of the year.
For facts, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I can't say that anymore.
Why can't you say it?
I'll talk about that in a little bit, but yeah, I mean, it's definitely a contender. I don't think it's game of the year anymore, though. But I mean, they recently added mechs and shit like that, man. How you feel about that?
They're great. There's like a small bug where if you turn too fast and shoot a rocket, you'll blow up. But
yeah, that happened to me.
Yeah,
1,000 times.
Yeah, so now it's like it's kind of funny because it's kind of like how when you use rocket launchers and you don't like aim your barrel first before you fire it, you will shoot the ground and blow up.
Mm-hmm.
So like kind of how they like have that heavy barrel system. I think that's probably what is causing the glitch instead of the rocket just shooting out immediately and not like colliding with the actual mech. But the robots are glass cannons. They're actually pretty like balanced, all things considered. Hell of a lot of fun to use. They come in on a drop ship, which I thought was awesome. And I kind of hope they have like a stratagem that where you can just call that in and it would just hover around you guys for a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Providing some like air cover and shit. Though, unlike in Helldivers 1, where you could activate stratagems in the mech, you still have to get out to activate stratagems. So there's that. Also, if you activate your TAC map and try to ping stuff, you're going to end up shooting your stuff, your guns and shit. So, like, be aware of that. But you can have your fellow Helldivers right on top. Provide
Sounds
support.
like there's a lot of bugs.
There's always a lot of bugs. I mean, they just released a new mission type where we have to activate these towers.
Yeah, I heard.
And it's actually pretty cool. I like successfully completed one. It was pretty intense.
That's what's up, man.
Yeah.
And then they did do a bunch of I guess a soft little
They did
nerf and buff
yeah.
patch that a lot of people were very on the fence about. A lot of people were like, yay. A lot of people were like, nay. I thought it was strange. Me, I just thought it was the way they went about it was the way they went up to me was just like strange. You know what I mean? Because it's kind of like the same way I feel about like Elden Ring in the sense like Elden Ring was crafted to be a certain type of way.
Yeah.
So when you like nerf and buff certain things, like when they nerfed Melania and shit, and like, you know, I never fought Melania in that game, but I felt some type of way about that shit because there's a lot of people who couldn't beat Melania, and then they did that nerf to her, and then they beat Melania, and then everybody's like, "Oh, you didn't beat the real Melania and shit like that. You
feel like that fragmented the community a little bit."
Yeah, and I kind of feel the same thing with this. It's like I get what they were trying to do, but I think it was somebody on I think it was like the director or something like that. He came out and explained like why he did the nerfs and stuff, and it was just like I think there could have been another way they went about this. I talked about it with Mike, my boy Mike. And go ahead.
They didn't just nerf like just everything. I know they buffed a bunch of guns that were underused.
A bunch of shit, yeah,
and some stratagems as well. I think the rail cannon, because I used it a lot before the nerf. I always used it on safe mode, but I think the nerf definitely made it a lot harder to use. You need to basically.
I never used it.
It's really good against hulks in the bot, like against the bots. So like you shoot that dude straight in the face with that, and it's almost like an guaranteed insta kill if you have like near full charge on unsafe mode. But even in safe mode, it still was dealing decent enough damage, and you weren't running the risk of killing yourself. The thing is that I feel like the railgun didn't need a nerf is because it's kind of like its own nerf. You get one shot per chamber.
Yeah.
And you have to reload it.
Yeah.
And that's like, and then the unsafe mode is like the only mode that actually does overpenetrate certain armor types. Like it's good on the Bile Titan. It's good on the Hulk. It's good on Chargers. It's good on Spewers. But you only get one shot and it takes like a second or two to reload. Yeah. I think nerfing it wasn't necessary. I think what the energy shield nerf, I think I understand that. Like it's like an extra second or two. It's really not that bad. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then I forget what else they nerfed. There's something else that people were complaining about. But those two, like the energy shield nerf, it's whatever. Railgun nerf, I don't think it was really necessary. And
the shield backpack, I didn't see the point in that either.
Yeah, like I think they need to focus on buffing everything else. Like the flamethrower definitely needed a buff.
Yeah.
Like it should not, like especially against terminids. Like I understand if it's not effective against bots, but against the bugs, it should be shredding everything.
Yeah, facts.
It's like you can now kill a charger with it. You can do pretty effective damage to Bile Titans with it. It does do a lot of like AoE and good crowd control. I think they also need to buff like some of the like stratagems. Like mines shouldn't be a minute and 80 second cooldown. Unless there's like something like the plan is causing complex stratagems or like increasing cooldown rates or something like that.
Yeah.
Like that's different, but overall cooldown should be like 80 seconds, 60 seconds. Like it shouldn't take almost 2 minutes to call down mines because they usually get wiped out in like 2 seconds.
Pretty fast, yeah.
Yeah. I think they also need to increase the range of the Tesla coil. And reduce that's cooldowns a little bit, just a tad. Because it doesn't have like a crazy big range. It also doesn't stun larger creatures that effectively. And it's really dangerous to be around unless you're prone. I also like, I don't think it just doesn't do enough to warrant bringing it on harder difficulties.
Yeah.
The turrets are usually fine. Mortar turrets fine. Like I don't have like an issue with any of the turrets. I would say when it comes to the orbital strikes, I think they do effectively what they're supposed to do. I definitely appreciated that they tightened up the 380s barrage because that shit spread was crazy. Like you would span basically like a good section of the map, and you could launch that away from you and still get hit by it. So like that was appreciated. I think the other thing they need to buff is probably secondaries a little bit. I think the machine pistol sidearm should actually bring 2 more clips of ammo. I don't think it should have 4. And I think the revolver should have a little extra stagger added to it. I think because I like the revolver, but it's only good. It only gets 6 shots, so it's high damage, and you get low ammunition. It's a round reload, so it's 1 at a time. So ammo management is good for it, but it should have a little higher impact on anything that's like a regular size block.
I think you hit everything on the nose, and that's why I put that tweet up that one day when they were talking about the thing, and I reposted that quote, and the guy was basically saying it's like an L take, because I feel the same way. I feel like artificial difficulty is a thing that I talk about a lot, like when I'm streaming a lot of times. And that's a problem I have with like a lot of games. Like I hate games that are just like, okay, you up the difficulty, so all we did was just up the enemies. You know what I mean? With a game like this, it makes sense. It definitely makes sense, because that's the point. Well, but with certain games, like let's say like Batman, right? Or like Spider-Man. Right. Like you're I think like a great game that handles difficulty very well, and me and you've talked about this 1,000 times, Eknight, is Halo. Halo does difficulty so well that I feel like no other game has like just needs to take notes on that. It's like, just to keep it short and sweet, like the way Halo handles difficulty is in normal, an elite you may run into may just be a regular elite. It may be blue, but on legendary, it'll be white or orange. You know what I mean? Which means it's stronger and it's has different moves and stuff. Yeah, exactly. I feel like that is great difficulty. So, you know what I mean? The way you
I was going to tell you this as someone who plays on Helldive. The bots are smarter. The bugs are smarter. The bugs but I'm also saying, like, you know, the Bile Titans and shit. There's also spitters that are orange. There are green ones in the harder difficulties.
Yeah, I know that.
So they definitely take a page out of Halo's book with upping, like they don't just like spit acid at you and you're just like dead. They turn into mortar cannons. Yeah, and they flank or they bunch up. So like they're really just like one note enemies that do a specific thing, but they also are paired with all the little spitter dudes. They pair them with like the regular guys. They pair them with the brood dudes, the guys with the armored faces or whatever. You know what I mean? Like you shoot regular bullets, it bounces off the front of them, but their backs are weak. Like the pairing, like it's like in Halo, you have grunts, you have elites, you have jackals, you have brutes. Each enemy has a role to do shit. Some are a little bit better than others. Like grunts are deceptively strong because there's a bunch of them, and even though they're easy to kill, they can hit you with a charged plasma pistol that you might not be expecting. They can suicide, try to like run at you with grenades. They can like rally, they retreat and rally. Mostly they're more of a distraction, so that the big guy can focus you. But like again, elites evade and jump around. Brutes go into a rage and frenzy and become almost like unkillable unless you headshot them, because if you try to do like normal damage, it's like mitigated. Jackals are usually carrying shields or sniping. So like the bugs and the termite and the automatons have their roles. And when we get the the fun ones, because a lot of the scans for the third faction, the Illuminate, leaked, and we're gonna have it's not gonna be it's not gonna be a walking apart. Those dudes have like glaives and great swords and tripod shit. And it's gonna be fun to play, but it's probably gonna be brutal on Helldive.
Yeah.
I think the way they go about the difficulty is that I think they were the main reason they nerfed stuff was because they're going to add shit that is going to make it more easier. Like the mech is only Patriot mech is only one version. There is the other one that has, I think, auto cannon rounds instead of a Gatling gun, and I think it dual wields that. There's also tank. There's also Doom Buggy. And that's not in addition to the new war bond we're getting on March 14th, which adds like a bunch of guns to the game and some armor. An armor that also lets you resist arc damage. So I think you can basically use your teammates as like little mini arc pylons to kind of like chain lightning enemies that are nearby. Basically, I think the nerf is like, even though I view it as unnecessary, seeing what's to come may be the reason why they tweaked it a little bit. Like I said, it's not impossible to take down Hulks now with the railgun cannon. I switch to unsafe mode all the time anyway, so it's like by default I'm always like trying to like kill dudes with it. But I think they're gonna add shit. They added the mech stratagem as soon as we did an event for it and liberated, what was it, Tau something or whether I forget the name of the planet. And
Yeah.
I think that's the reason why they're nerfing some shit and buffing other shit. I think all around most of the base weapons and stuff need buffs. Like I think the smoke grenade needs a little bit wider spread because smoke is very useful against bots. You toss that down, block their line of sight. That actually gives you some breathing room to work with. Like there's some other things that I forget at this moment that could use a buff, but like long and short of it is that I think they nerf stuff to prepare for new stuff. And it's not as bad as like when Call of Duty does it, where they just nerf a gun into the ground that came out with the last battle pass. I think they're just tweaking it just enough to where it's not going to contribute to like the overpoweredness of the other stratagems you're going to bring. So like, if you could bring a tank, why would you bring a railgun? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Especially if your guys are like, oh, we could just ride on top of the tank and just all rock rail cannons, and then basically just like you have essentially 4 tank cannons, one that's more effective than the other ones, but the other ones are more are just effective enough to take down Hulks, which are like the big bad, basically the top Bile Titan equivalent to the bots. Like it's like you gotta tweak it a little bit, especially even on Helldive. So I see maybe that's probably what they're doing, but then again, that remains to be seen. So we'll see in the future.
Yeah, I just to get off this topic, like I said, I think my issue with it was, and I like I said, we talk about this on my stream all the time.
Yeah.
I hate artificial difficulty. I hate it when the only way it seems like a game can make the game harder is to nerf the player. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like I like how Halo like has always done it. Like, yeah, these enemies hit a little harder, but they're also strong. They're also stronger in sense. Like they're also physically, you see it, stronger and different. Yeah, I mean, than they are on lower difficulties. So it makes sense when they do more damage to you. Yeah. I just think the way they went about like this patch was kind of weird because it was just like I get it, but then I don't, because it's like, hey, we want you to use other stratagems, and we're gonna nerf the meta because the meta is fucking annoying and people are getting kicked out of games and stuff. But then at the same sense, it's just like, you know, I don't know. I just think it's bad, man. It's the same thing like how I felt like with Elden Ring, man. Like Elden Ring is a game that it's supposed to be difficult, it's supposed to be hard. You know what I mean? But if you have like that sword, I know I'm about to butcher the name, but I remember the sword, like the Blood Omen sword or whatever the fuck it is. Yeah. Like that sword is supposed to make the game like 10 times easier, like apparently, and shit like that. But they never nerfed the sword. They never were just like, yo, people were going crazy with this sword. It was just a thing like, hey, if you want to use that sword, go and use that sword. I just feel like that's how things should be. Like, don't nerf the player's ability to play the way they want to play and be like, because that's the same problem when I was talking to Mike, the same problem I have with like Call of Duty in this sense. Yeah. It's like a gun will be fucking strong and then I'll nerf it so other guns can, I guess, like overperform it or perform the same as well as, you know, that gun.
That's what I was saying about how they nerf the battle pass weapons and that were from the old ones and don't nerf the new ones. Like that, and that's another problem
with Helldivers too. Like some of the guns in that war bond, the one that you got to pay for, some of those guns are like weak as shit. Like I just don't like them. Like there's not a gun yet that I got in that war bond battle pass, and I'm like, yo, this is gonna take me away from the breaker. I'm still running the breaker.
Yeah, honestly, like the explosive liberator is like does need a bit of a buff. I'm curious about that final gun in that war bond, but I haven't gotten there yet, so I don't really.
The Jax Dominator.
Yeah, the one that looks like it just shoots rockets.
It's ass, dog.
Is it ass?
It's ass, dog.
I looked at the Scorcher. The Scorcher seemed like it does pretty well. I've used that like because I had a teammate that was max level. He died. I picked his gun up. I used it for a bit. It seemed like it's pretty decent.
Yeah.
I thought it was a fucking flamethrower, handheld flamethrower.
Yeah.
The way it was designed. And it just shoots lasers, essentially.
I just think, man, like with a game like this where Call of Duty hasn't, it's crazy. It's got an excuse because it's a PvP game. Mm-hmm. There's no PvP in this game, so it's just like let people do what they want to do.
What do you mean they have an excuse because of PvP? I mean, like even in PvP games, they
with a gun being with a meta being broken, right?
Right.
Because that was the same problem, I guess, that Helldivers had. That everybody's running the same meta.
Yeah,
and it was kind of breaking the game. Yeah, it was kind of breaking the game.
It wasn't breaking the game; it was fracturing the community because the communities were kicking each other and they don't want to foster that toxic environment, which is why they're probably not going to ever add PvP.
Yeah, but I think with a game like Call of Duty, a meta can easily overtake and it becomes an unfair advantage.
I
think there's an unfair advantage.
Suffers from its own like system. Like
facts.
You can build guns really well. You can make that gun viable. But the problem is that if you nerf a gun to the ground, no matter how many attachments you give it, it's barely going to be viable.
Yeah. So they've gotten better with that. I think since maybe season 3 of Modern Warfare 2, they've been really good with these Call of Duty games with keeping every gun viable.
Right.
Like I felt that way all through Modern Warfare 2. Like every gun was fucking viable in that. Well, that's kind of the same thing with Modern Warfare 3. I still feel like to this day, like as much as they nerfed the MCW or the BAS-B, those guns are still really fucking good. The Striker, they've nerfed it 1,000 times, still really good. You know what I mean? It still can compete against like the new the Ram 7 assault rifle or the Ram 9 assault rifle or the BP-50 assault rifle that just came out. Like, you know what I mean? I feel like they've gotten better with that. I can say
I know
that,
in the past that you've grinded out
with Vanguard and all those other
and then they would just nerf it after as soon as the new season started. And I was like, oh no, that's terrible.
Shit was fucked up. Yeah, that shit was fucked up. But they've gotten a lot better with that shit. I can I got 900 hours to prove that shit. They've gotten better.
I
at
mean,
that
like
shit.
to the one thing I do kind of hate about PvP games, like I can give Halo Infinite as an example. When it came out, the Mangler was a one shot, one melee type of gun, and they nerfed it because playing it in Pro League, people were bitching because it was too strong, and people were running it, and now it's like barely used even in like social conditions. Like I'll use it as
That's when I hate. See, that's another topic maybe for like another podcast, but like I'll just touch on it real quick.
yeah.
That's another thing that I hate about like PvP games. Like, don't nerf something to the point where it's just like, okay, it's no
But
longer
we
viable at
still
all.
can't
Like,
use
I
the
mean,
Ravager for shit because that shit sucks.
yeah, like that's the same thing I feel about Apex. I feel like Apex at one point was very good at balancing out all of their legends and
Mhm.
all of their guns to make everybody feel viable in competitive play and make every gun feel, even the Mozambique or the P2020, even those guns, make them feel viable in every situation. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
I hate when a gun just nerfs something to the ground to the point where it is literally no longer viable. Like
Yeah.
there's no point in even running that gun. Like I hate that. Now I will say, like, again, I play a lot of duty. All of the guns in at least in Modern Warfare 3 are all viable in my opinion. Like
Mhm.
there's not one gun that I'll pick up and be like, damn, this shit's just can't compete. You know what I mean, with anything. Like anything in that game is good with the right amount of, the right combination of attachments, understanding the recoil patterns and shit, because that's a thing and shit like that, like recoil.
Mhm. Yeah.
Every gun has different recoil
Yeah.
patterns and shit like that.
No.
You just have to adjust to it, and once you adjust, you're able to do it. You know what I mean,
Yeah.
you're just able to do it.
But in games like Halo, where the guns don't get attachments and they serve a specific role, it's like, all right, Plasma Pistol had terrible tracking, no longer EMP shit, so it's like it's basically almost worthless. You can still get noob combo people, but you have to basically be on point. Like the tracking, not that
you have
great.
to be in their fucking face.
Ravager in the beta was great because the shots had splash damage, so even if you did miss, you still did something. You know what I mean? And now it's like even direct shots barely do any damage, and its campaign variant is literally worse than the original variant. So it's like I get like sometimes a gun needs a nerf in a PvP setting. PvE though,
PvE just let the shit go, man. Like that's all I felt with Helldivers.
I felt like
just
if
let people
they
do what they want to
buff
do, man.
other stratagem weapons, like a little bit, like if they have like if they changed it like so that the machine gun can actually somewhat penetrate heavy armor, like not tanks, but like the Hulks or some of the buffer robot dudes. And then the stalwart was like the not so great option for that, but good for dealing with like trash mobs. I think it would have been like, all right, I could bring them a machine gun and lay down
I always bring the machine gun.
It's really only good against like bugs.
I always bring that shit.
But the rail cannon is like, I don't know. I feel like the grenade launcher is decent, does what it needs to do. Flamethrower, self-explanatory. They buffed it. Arc thrower. Arc thrower is pretty good too. Like, let's see what you did. Yeah. Arc thrower is pretty good. Dangerous for your teammates if they're in front of you. That's about it. But it's really good for crowd control and really good against armor targets. It actually does work against Hulks. It just takes a lot of shots. And then you got the 50 cal. So my problem with the sniper is that it should have armor piercing rounds. It should be effective against Hulks, even if you don't hit them in their sweet spots. That's my opinion. Or they should have the 50 cal and then 50 cal with the explosive rounds. And as far as all the base weapons go, basic Liberator is probably good to run with for most of the time. The Breaker's pretty good. The Slugger's really good as like a better alternative to the actual 2 DMRs that you get in the War Bond which both of them kind of suck. Like, I actually don't like using them, and I usually go for DMRs. The Burst Fire Liberator, the one with the light or the medium armor penetration, it's really not worth it. It just feels like it doesn't hit hard enough. And I think it needs to. It has medium armor penetration, but I don't know what that means in the context of like shooting a Hulk, because it feels like it just doesn't do anything.
Yeah.
And then, I haven't gotten to the other guns yet. So, no idea. So, if you're looking for a decent gun that you can run that hits hard, the Slugger is the way to go.
Okay.
In my humble opinion right now.
Well, that's it on Helldivers, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Game's still good. People still playing it.
Oh, people
still
love it.
Fun.
It's
Meme's
great.
still good on my nerves. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's all good.
You know what's funny? Actually, when you brought up the fact that you couldn't jump in that game, I was playing a mission and it was raining really hard, and you know what it reminded me of?
What?
MGS5.
Makes sense.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure you can't
another
game
can't. Yeah, another game can't fucking jump in.
That you love.
But guess what? There's an actual context that lets me know what I can and can't climb. You know what I mean?
No, this one has a little.
Fuck. You know what I mean?
Helldivers has a little indicator that flashes when you can't climb.
Yeah, that's when after you have attempted to climb it for 2 minutes. You know what I mean? You know.
At that point, you got to get creative. I usually just run at the wall at all different angles, and I get up there. I've scaled like mountains.
But if
Pretty
Activision
funny.
made this shit, man.
Yeah, I mean, it's probably still be talking the same way.
All right. Let's get the fuck off this Helldivers shit, man. I love the game, man. I don't want people to think
this man is just a hater. That's
a hater, man. But you know what? You know what I love though? You want to know something I love?
Ass.
Besides that,
Hennessy. Guinness.
Guinness. I love Guinness. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, dog.
Oh shit! I forgot that came out.
Let's nut all over this game real quick. I mean,
all right. Let's put the picture of Tifa away first. All right.
Let's jerk off all over this fucking. Jesus. Yeah, I mean this game because it's fucking phenomenal. Hell no, we're close.
Oh, okay.
I'm doing literally everything because the game is so that fucking good that I want to do everything in it, man. It's so.
Is it a sequel to the one that came out?
So just like I had to explain on stream, it's basically disc 2 to part 1, disc 1 of the first remake that came out a couple years ago. Okay. It takes place like literally right after the ending of remake. So just think of this like disc 2. That's how I've been able to explain it to people. Like where Spider-Man 2 is a sequel to the Spider-Man games, this is essentially like a disc 2 to the first part of remake.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it does a lot of things differently, but the same. I mean, like it's literally the same game, but a lot different because now you're not in Midgard anymore. You're not in a linear city anymore. It is a full-blown open world now, man. Big ass sprawling world for you to explore with a whole bunch of shit on the map for you to do and side quests to do and jobs to take up. And you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Great game. Great storytelling. I listen, man. I would just tell y'all my rating now, but like it's kind of like the same way I felt about Final Fantasy 16, right? Final Fantasy 16 in the beginning, maybe the first 15 hours of it, I'm like, yo, this is a 10 out of 10. And then maybe once I got in that 20 to 25 hour radius, I was like, yeah, this is like maybe like a 9. And then by the time I beat it, I was like, this is like an 8. Because the pacing on the game is kind of, it's a JRPG. JRPGs usually have pacing issues. They have points in the game where they just have you do like random shit, like kind of like what I'm doing right now in the story mode, where it just kind of slows your progression down. It makes you do something that just is irrelevant and not so interesting, but I haven't had that issue yet. Like, I mean, like I'm not spoiling anything when I say this. Like, it's in the trailer. There's like a part where like you're playing as Cloud and you're like undercover as like a regular Shinra guard and shit like that, and you're part of like the drill team. So you have to do like this dance revolution thing where you push like buttons and shit. I really didn't find it like annoying. It wasn't like, oh my God, like this is fucking slow as hell. It was literally like a 10-minute sequence. You got past it and you're right back into the action. There was a really good boss fight right after that. So the pacing is like pretty good on this. I mean, that was the same thing that I encountered with Remake 1. Like, for y'all, the game's like 4 or 5 years old now, so I'm not really spoiling anything. There's like a point where you're with Aerith, Cloud is with Aerith, and you have to like find all these flowers and shit. It was like, yeah, this is slowing me down, but at the same time, this sequence is only like 5-10 minutes long. It's really not that. It's not a full 45-minute, hour-long sequence that's literally just taking me away, and it's kind of boring. It's whatever. I mean, it's not the most interesting thing, but it's building, some type of character dialogue and stuff like that. They do the same thing in this game. So I've got like 12 hours in the game, and I've hit a lot of those sequences where it's just like, all right, it slows you down. Like there's a part right now where it's like I'm traveling by sea, and it's just like, hey, you want to fucking participate in a card game tournament? And it's just like, all right, I mean, sure. But it gives you the option to just be like, nah, I'm a pass. And I bet you if you hit nah, I'm a pass, it just takes you right to your destination, and that's it. You know what I mean? So I do really like the pacing, because I'm participating in a card tournament because I want to win. I mean, I want to do shit. I want to like immerse myself. There's romance options in this game. You know what I mean? You can,
I heard about that. You can romance Tifa or Aerith.
Yeah. I mean, you can romance and build like a friendship level with your teammates and stuff. So like dialogue is very important. Doing side quests with certain characters is very important. There's the new synergy system, which is really fire. So it's like while you're in combat, you use Cloud for a little bit, and then you switch to Tifa, use her for a little bit. And once, I guess, I don't know what determines it, but once the game kind of determines that, hey, you've used this character for a good amount of time, it's time to use your synergy attack. You can use a synergy attack with 2 of your characters, and it does like a decent amount of damage and stuff. It's really good, man. Like the combat's really fluid. I feel like it's a lot better than the first game, because like Cloud can actually like really stay in the air this time, and you can get like busy. Like you can really get busy. Like there's parries now and all types of shit. Like Red 13 is like parry god. He's got vengeance mode where he can just like literally like just mitigate all the damage he just took into health and then dish it back out. Like it's really dope. And it's still, again, the thing with the first game was it was a action-based RPG, but it was still tactical, and it was still in a sense like a turn-based RPG. Like there's times within the combat where you could tell like you need to slow down and you need to block. You need to take your time. You need to, all right, this is the quote unquote enemy's turn to attack. You know what I mean? It still has all of those systems and stuff, and I really like it. I really like the combat. I really like the story. The character dynamic is just, there's times where it really makes you smile. Like the dialogue is really good. The music is fucking incredible. You know what I mean? They said they made like 400 tracks for this game. You know what I mean? And you literally hear it, dog. Like it just, the music changes so often that it's awesome. Like during the boss fights, and just everything is perfect so far, man. Like this is probably my game of the year, dog. I keep it real with you. This is probably my game of the year, dog. We got Rise of Ronin and Dragon's Dogma in like a week. We'll probably talk about them on the next gaming podcast. So we'll see how I feel about those because I'm copping both. But this game definitely, yeah, I'm liking it a lot, man. I can't wait to get back to streaming it because, like I said, I've been doing everything. Like, and the world is massive. There's a lot to do in it. There's a lot, but it's not like an Ubisoft game where there's just all this shit and it's just like, oh man, I'm like overwhelmed. It's like, nah, there's a decent amount of shit to do. The boss fights are great. The summons are great. The graphics are good. The music is good. The combat is good. The dialogue is good. The game is good. The game is amazing. 10 out of 10 so far. I mean,
okay.
We'll
it sounds good. I'm planning on picking it up when it's out on PlayStation 5 only right now.
Yeah, it'll probably come to PC in like maybe like a year or two. That's what they did with the last one. It was like a year or two.
Yeah, I'm planning on picking it up on PC when I get a chance. Yeah,
definitely, dog. This game is for you people that got a PS5 and y'all ain't playing this. That's crazy. This game is great. I'm loving it. But that's a nice little transition to another game that just got announced that's coming out that's coming to PC. That was on PlayStation only for like 4 years now, and that's Ghost of Tsushima. That's coming out in May. Let me get the date before I let y'all know. Tsushima PC release is May 16th. So if you have a PC only, you don't own a PlayStation 4 or 5, I highly recommend. This to me was one of the best games of the PS4 era. Like this was like a defining game for me. So definitely pick that up. I told Eknight he better pick that shit up. I mean,
I'll pick it up when I finish. Like I said, I got to finish a bunch of games.
It's really good, man. Really good game, man. But yeah, that's our little review. We'll probably do a final review when I beat the game. We're chugging along with it. Chat is really enjoying the game. They really like how, like I said, it's very dynamic. There's a lot of dialogue, and there's a lot of dialogue options. And like I said, those kind of base the responses you get and, your relationships with your party and stuff like that. So game's great, man. Game's great. Now we just got a couple quick hits, and then we're just gonna end the stream. Not the stream, the podcast.
End the stream, yep.
But before we continue on, somebody in my chat did indeed redeem the channel point to get a shout out on the next podcast. That is a point that you can redeem on my stream over at twitch.tv/BLAZEDxENFERNO. And that shout out goes out to his sweet Serenity. Shout out to Serenity, man. She showed an astronomical amount of love, to say the least, to not only me, but I peeped and noticed to other people within the community. She's been dropping hella subs, hella bits, showing out, coming out to every stream she can, playing games. I usually late night game with her. She was in the Discord not too long ago. She disappeared and shit because I think she was waiting for Black and them to get on Overwatch and shit. But she's just an awesome person. So shout out to her. And if you're not following her, make sure you go do that. She's a variety streamer in a sense. She plays a lot of like Fortnite. I ain't gonna lie. She plays a lot of Fortnite, a lot of Mario Party, Mario Kart, Goose, family-friendly games. So if you're in that type of thing, go give her a follow. Go show her some love. Her link will be down in the bottom. And make sure you check me out. Shameless plug as well. I mean, let's keep it moving. Respawn, man. Respawn broke my heart. Respawn broke my heart.
Yup.
They broke my heart.
No more Star Wars FPS shooter, apparently.
Yeah, so they were working on a Mandalorian, I guess, based first-person shooter game. They canceled the shit. The shit's canceled. All right.
That shit is sad. Because that sounded like it would have been cool.
That shit sounded like it was going to be fucking fire, dog. That was going to be a day one cop for me, dog. Like it
Mhm.
wasn't like a first person, multiplayer shooter. This was a first person single player shooter. I mean, I don't know if because I had a lot of theories on this when this happened. I was like, maybe that game Immortals of Avium, which was another EA game that they published last year, um, that didn't do so well, and that was like a first person single player shooter game. Maybe they're looking at the analytics of that and they're like, oh, that didn't do really good. So I don't think people want that type of thing. But the thing that got me fucked up is like, this is a Star Wars game. A Star Wars game is always going to do good, regardless, unfortunately, if it's good or bad. I mean, I felt like this was going to do really fucking good. I
Mhm.
don't know. They canceled this because they let go of like 670 employees, 5% of their workforce lost their jobs. Um, but fear not, Respawn is still working on part 3 of their Jedi Fallen Order trilogy thing.
Okay.
So, but I'm hurt about this, dog, because this seemed like it was going to be a really good idea.
I
I
mean, yeah,
mean,
it
Respawn
probably
does
would've been
really good
cool.
with shooters. Yeah, man. Like, I don't know why they didn't. I mean, what's your sentiments on this, man? How you feel?
It's just a missed opportunity. Like, I'm pretty sure if like they were just, I don't know, man. I feel like they could have definitely been a successful Star Wars IP, especially with how popular the show has been. And like, I don't know, maybe were they going for open world or was it just generalized as a shooter?
I'm thinking all we knew about it was he was just a first person shooter.
I think they could have definitely did like an open world game where you could like go on bounties, hunt down
Yeah, like
popular
a Far
characters.
Cry type game.
Yeah, something like that. I think they could have definitely like they definitely could have just did this game and it probably would have been really good.
Yeah, man. It definitely would
Especially
have
with
been in the
Respawn,
green
like
with it.
even though like I'm not a fan of Respawn anymore because of the whole Titanfall 3 debacle. Um and I'm not really a fan of Apex anymore like that.
Yeah.
It's just I feel like they could have definitely did that. They could have pulled it off. Maybe I would have been like, all right, good job. This game's good. But it feels like they haven't really worked too much on a lot of single player games as of late. So
Yeah, man. EA don't see the money in it, man. I remember
which is
reading something.
crazy
Yeah.
considering how good Fallen Order has been.
But you got to look at the properties that they own at the same time. They own fucking FIFA and Madden, and
They,
those games make them fucking
I thought I
ridiculous
last heard that
amount
they were
of.
fighting with FIFA, like the actual
Oh,
org.
never mind. Yeah, they got rid of FIFA. It's called
Yeah,
FC now. FC,
yeah,
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 football club or whatever it's called.
yeah. They don't
Same
have it no
thing. It's
more.
just they just don't have the FIFA name. They still
Yeah,
make dirty money off of it because it's really the only soccer game out there.
yeah.
So
But it's so funny to me that they lost the licensing for that and Star Wars.
yeah, man. It sucks because this Respawn does really good, man. And I think they would have did good with this.
They definitely
Jedi
would have.
Survivor was one of my favorite games last year. I put it at number 3 in my top 5 of last year. I think they could have had a hit with this one, but I mean,
I don't know. We would have actually needed to see gameplay though,
yeah.
because then we would
It's
have
not
like
on my
that.
shooting.
What's that other
But
one that's coming out that you are playing? It's kind of like a mercenary.
Outlaws. That's the
Outlaws.
Ubisoft Star Wars game.
Yeah, so maybe that'll be a good substitute for what they were gonna put out.
Hopefully, it's
Yeah, hopefully.
Ubisoft. So
Yeah, they're not like
yeah, but
fucking. I don't know because like fucking Black Flag is doing better than their recent pirate ship games. So I'm just like,
yeah. Skull and Bones is it's a thing, man. I played 3 hours of the trial. I haven't returned yet because
there's no
uh,
point.
you pretty much. That's kind of my set. My like kind of going off topic a little bit, but just to talk about how I feel about Skull and Bones, because I actually can talk about it a little bit because I played a little bit of it. It's basically like what you would think from like any other looter shooter. You're just doing shit to make your ship stronger, to do more shit that's harder. It's really it. But, and it's a big but. I'm not saying the game is good or anything like that, or it's worth your money. Please don't run out and buy this shit. I wouldn't even buy it if it was $20. This game would have to me, I feel like this game, and I said it when we were playing it. The video's up on YouTube if y'all want to check out my YouTube at YouTube at BLAZEDxENFERNO. I did put up my gameplay of it, but I did say it like I feel like that game needs to go free to play. I think it would have a better chance if it was just a full-on free to play game, because I think the idea of it can be fun, like with the guys, like because I didn't play by myself. I played it I could not play a game like that by myself. Played it with the bros, and we were kind of having a good time, like just kind of mobbing around, shooting shit. You know what I mean? Sailing the seas. You know what I mean? With the boys and shit. It was pretty dope. It was like dope, but like I couldn't do that for 20, 40 hours. You know what I mean? I couldn't do that. Like after like 2.5 hours, I think it was like 3 hours I played. I was like, all right, this is enough. Like I'm ready to get the fuck off of this. You know what I mean?
Enough.
You know what I mean? It's that game's got to go free to play. I mean, it's got to go free to play. I see why people like it. I feel like it's for a very small niche, very niche people that really like pirate battles and all of that shit. You know what I mean? If y'all like that shit, then go for it. But I see it deserves kind of the hate that it gets. I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah, I think it's just like they redid.
It's a missed opportunity at most, dog. Like it really is. Like if they would have just added like land combat, like I feel like that game it's a decent 6.
Bro, all they
decent
needed
7.
to do was just take what they did with Black Flag and just make that multiplayer. That's it.
Basically,
they didn't need to try. First of all, it doesn't even look like they built the game back from the ground up. It may be just a glorified asset flip with just a retexture, because it looks the same.
It does.
It looks the same as Black Flag. Like
yeah, the sailing's a bit different, but that's also to its detriment too. I feel like the sailing is like a fucking chore sometimes. You know what I mean? Because it's all about the wind and the direction of the wind.
I mean, you had that in Sea of Thieves, but
your ships have stamina, which makes no fucking sense.
Wait, what? Why does the stamina? What do you mean? What does stamina even do for a ship? Like
your
health
ship has stamina,
or
man.
stamina?
I guess it's supposed to represent the people holding your sail up when you're going full sail. I mean, they get tired, man. So it's
all the way off.
I didn't like that. That was like for me, that was a thing that was just like, okay, I was having a little bit of fun with this. And now I'm just like,
it sounds like that's like, oh man, if you want to improve your stamina, have them eat food. But there's food in the eShop you can buy.
Yeah, thankfully they haven't done that yet, though. I didn't see any of that. I didn't see any of that. I mean, like I said, Ubisoft is really good on doing the time savers and shit like that. So I wouldn't be surprised if they do some shit like that. But
they put it in the Ghost Recon, and it made no sense.
Which I've been playing off stream. Which I've been playing off stream.
What, Breakpoint?
Yeah, man. Me and my boy Foxy playing that shit for shoutout Foxy. You playing that shit for like 4 hours last night. That's why I'm so fucking tired, man. I was playing that shit. Man, listen, Breakpoint's a good game when you just turn everything up to the max. Get rid of the HUD, make that shit feel like a real tactical shooter. That shit can get serious, man.
Mm-hmm.
That shit can be really fun. But off topic, we're already off topic with Skull and Bones. I think that game just needs to go free to play. But as far as with this Star Wars game, I'm upset. I mean, but
It's a shame because they also laid off a bunch of people too.
Yeah, 675% of their workforce, man. Like I said, like I'm okay with these cancellations and delays with some of these games, to be honest, because we just had like a banger of a year for games, and my backlog is just too much right now, and I really just want to take the time to like work on that. But I think I'm gonna end up streaming Dragon's Dogma. That's gonna be a game I stream, or I may stream Rise of Ronin and play Dragon's Dogma, like on my spare time. I don't know yet.
Should stream Dragon's Dogma.
That's what everybody's saying.
I think you should do it because I know that's going to be a crazy popular one.
Yeah.
But also, like you might end up liking it because it has I think it still has the climbing mechanic where you can just like straddle dudes like in Shadow of the Colossus.
Yeah.
Beat the shit out of them.
Yeah, I got a little bit of time in the first game. I bought it a couple months ago on sale. It's just too outdated for me to like really enjoy. But
no, yeah, I also played the first one. I think it's the first one. I don't know. The Dark Arisen.
Yeah, it's the first one.
Yeah, that I get it, but I still can't get into it. So, like, I have it on my Switch.
Yeah, this second game looks like it's gonna be fire. So I think I'm gonna bite the bullet and go ahead and cop that up.
Yeah, I'm gonna wait a little bit, not because I don't want to play it, but it's like I still want to beat like Fallen Order and then Cops Survivors and beat that.
Are you playing that game? Are you playing Fallen Order?
I'm doing the same thing I probably did last time. Restart from the beginning. Remember how to play the fucking game and just
stream it.
I want to, but I don't know. I don't like stream single player games anymore. If that makes sense.
No, I feel
I kind of just stopped. I used to do it a lot, but it just I don't know. I just like I kind of just want to play the games off stream.
Yeah, that's how I be. That's why I pick and choose which games I'm gonna do on stream and which games I'm not. Like there's certain games that I feel like are just a vibe by yourself for you to experience. And there's certain games that you just it for me, I don't mind sharing that experience with chat. You know what I mean? I don't mind that shit. Like Final Fantasy, I don't mind that shit. You know what I mean?
Plus, it's like a kind of like a streamer. The only games that I want to play that are like sci-fi related and single player are going to be games like Dead Space, like horror-esque. Like I want to play like Amnesia Bunker or something like that.
Yeah.
So like if it's not like that, it's not like kind of like itching my sci-fi lust for like good storytelling. I probably am not going to stream a single player game that's like popular or something like that anymore. Just because most of the time I'm going to stream Halo. Definitely I'm adding Helldivers as like a permanent addition to my rotation now. Like the Mecha Thursdays kind of fell through because we lost Gundam Evolutions.
Yeah.
Rest in peace, because that was a decent game. That's the worst part too. Yeah. It's a decent game, and we lost it. And I think it's partly because of the fucking microtransactions and probably like how they handled the ring scene. But yeah, no. It's like now I want to focus on like just I guess I like because a lot of my content's now like centered around Halo stuff, so I want to center it around that a little bit, and then like maybe when I get more time to stream in like a year or two, maybe I'll do a single player game like that isn't like in my genre. But sorry, I didn't mean to go off on a tangent. But
no, you're cool. I mean, I listen. Like I said, I feel you, man.
But fuck Spider-Man.
Yeah, you can say that. I listen. I feel you, kind of on that. I won't lie. All right, let's keep the conversation going forward. We got a couple more quick hits for y'all, and we're gonna wrap this one up. Like I said, it's gonna be a short one. Let's get this Call of Duty news out the way. Warhammer 40K event starts today, yeah. March 13th, I think. I believe it's today. So we're getting 3 new skins in an event where you can probably earn another skin or a gun skin or something. They're really good with that. Like every week they have weekly events and weekly challenges that you can complete to unlock shit. And I guess they're doing a Warhammer theme. Like I think what was it last week was Dune. They had a Dune event that was pretty easy. I completed that in a couple hours. Probably the same thing with this. Got some new skins. Skins are dope. I'm definitely getting the skin, dog. The Space Marine, that shit's fire.
You know, it's a missed opportunity that they could have did the a skin for the Juggernaut one. I feel like
that they already did that. They already did that.
Did they? They added a skin for Juggernauts?
Yeah. Hell yeah.
Oh shit.
That's why I'm buying that shit.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah, I was like, wait, because I saw the preview and it was just like the regular soldiers and they just have like a theme of it. And I was like,
unfortunately now Call of Duty has they have skins for equipment and shit now too. So like the little deployable shield you can put up. They have a skin for that for one bundle.
Oh my god!
They got grenade skins for one bundle, smoke skins for that was like a couple battle passes ago in Modern Warfare 2. I mean, so they got equipment skins. So I think now they're doing kill streak skins, and that's gonna be a kill streak skin.
Okay, dope. Let me know when they have Master Chief. Maybe I'll pick it up.
Yeah, that man said I'm buying that, dog.
I mean like it's
Microsoft
cool.
Now they could make that happen.
That's what I'm saying. It's cool. Like Siege did that, and that was the most unexpected shit I've ever seen. But I copped it and I played it. It was jarring. You know how jarring it is to see Master Chief in Rainbow Six Siege? This shit is just wild.
Yeah, man. I can only imagine. Kind of like seeing Nicki Minaj in Call of Duty.
No, yeah, that
shit makes no fucking sense.
It makes Minaj is like out here just shooting people. It's like, bro, what? You make music. Why are you killing people?
I copped the skin. The skin is fire.
I know why you copped the skin.
I copped the skin.
It's not because it's fire.
It's definitely because it's fire.
It's because it's ass.
Nah, man. The one thing I like about a lot of these Call of Duty skins they've done is that when they do these little crossovers, they bring the voice actors in. So like this season, they had Rick Grimes in the Battle Pass. They bought the voice actor or the person who plays Rick Grimes in the actual Walking Dead in to do the voice lines. I fuck with that shit. Nicki Minaj does her voice lines for her character in Call of Duty. That shit's fire to me, dog. Like just hear her say enemy spotted. Like I like that shit. Like shit like that makes me be like, yo, I'll spend the money on that. That's dope. I mean, like that's cool. Like Snoop Dogg, when they brought Snoop Dogg in and Snoop Dogg is voicing his character, like that's cool, man. You know what I mean? They'll probably do the same thing with this. Well, I don't know if they will, because I think the Warhammer skins are just skins going on certain operators that are already out. You know what I mean? So
okay.
We got that, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely looking forward to this, man. Call of Duty's, one of my main games we run on Friday night fights. Alongside Apex, because this season of Apex is pretty dope. But yeah, I'll definitely let y'all know in the next podcast how I'm feeling. This season so far has been iffy. I haven't played a lot because my boy just had a kid. Shout out to my boy Jay, just had his kid and shit. So he ain't been on duty. And then Eric been outside touching grass. So he ain't been on duty. So I really don't have anybody to play duty with that often. Like I used to always have somebody that was just, yo, get on duty. And I was on duty. So I haven't really played a lot of this season, but it's going good, man. Just, it's Call of Duty, man. Can't really fuck it up, I guess. I don't know.
No, you never know.
Last bit of news we're gonna leave y'all with for this episode. I did want to talk about the thing we talked about earlier. I think we're gonna end it on that, man. So explain to the viewers and kind of me again about this Sweet Baby Inc. situation.
Yeah. So this has been going around the
You probably
gaming
seen it on
community.
Twitter and
They've
I've
if,
seen it, but
if you follow like any popular creator so far, a lot of people have been talking about it. But it's yeah, hold on, let me pull this up real quick. But the thing with Sweet Baby Inc. It's like a weird Streisand effect. So essentially, it's this gaming writing company that consults certain game studios. They've worked on, I want to say, they've worked on Alan Wake 2, like the ones that we know about. There's other
Spider-Man 2.
Spider-Man 2, Suicide Squad, and then God of War Ragnarok. There's also other smaller titles like Sable or Breeze. Again, I have never played some of these games. But yeah, so basically they focus on story writing usually. And they're all about adding more representation in those stories. So basically, a Steam user who is from Brazil, I forget what his name is, but basically he made a Steam group because he started noticing a pattern that the games that he's been playing, has this company attached to it, and he started making a group, essentially like just categorizing games that companies, well, Sweet Baby Inc. has had had a hand in or consulted in, and kind of like a lot of these games have like weird instances. Like I think you were mentioning, like we were talking about this before the podcast a little bit. Like there's a certain side quest in Spider-Man 2 that kind of like threw you out of it, or it just seemed kind of like odd why it was in that, or in the way that it was presented to
Yeah,
the
man.
player.
It's just kind of random. It just again with a lot of this woke culture that's going on nowadays. It
Mm-hmm.
just felt like in people that know, if you played Spider-Man 2, there's
Mm-hmm.
like a mission where you got to help somebody get up their prom date to go on prom with them or whatever. But it just felt like it was just being over the top with the message, and it was just like, okay, I get it. I mean, it's just kind of like unnecessary in that sense. Like you're kind of like hammering the nail on the head a little too much with it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. And there was also like comments about how like Suicide Squad's like banter and stuff because they had a hand into that. Some of it's not that funny. Some of it is like,
That game's hilarious.
yeah.
That game is hilarious, though. That's the one thing I will say about it. That game is funny as shit.
Well, basically, this guy made this Steam group and just categorized it. So when they found out about it, because I think the group hit like 100,000K, they essentially tried to like get his account banned, and which caused him to like basically just tell people about it, and it got picked up by like a bunch of YouTubers and stuff like that. And kind of had the opposite effect because it seemed like they were silencing him for just simply criticizing what they do, and like just making a list of the games they've worked on, so people would be more informed. I forget what the Steam group is called, but basically, guys from like Brazil, the head of it anyway, didn't like what they were doing, made a group. They had an issue with that, tried to take them down. Crazy part is it caused the Streisand effect, so everybody ended up looking into them, which caused more drama. And I think now it's like they've become like kind of like sort of like the figurehead scapegoat of like unwanted like political ideologies forced into games.
Mm-hmm.
And they're not the only company that does stuff like that. There are other ones that I'm blanking on at the moment, but like essentially they just the gamers are like essentially just not fucking with the vibes here. We're not they don't want like forced stuff into the stories. They don't want to feel like they're being fed an ideology they didn't like have or want in their game and their like fantasy game or whatever. And so that unfortunately, whether this is like 100% their intention or not, Sweet Baby Inc. has become like the first or the face of this controversy. And some of I think there was like Kotaku articles basically comparing it to like Gamergate all over again, something like that, where it's like kind of like an ethics in journalism. And I think a lot of gamers have had issues with just games journalists in general, not because it's like their reporting's always like terrible or something like that. It's more or less like a lot of the times when they report on something, it's more of an opinion piece rather than a factual like play by play. Like this is what's going down.
This is true.
Yeah, so like a lot of people are just sick of that in general. I know I'm kind of sick of it. That's why I don't really read a lot of gaming articles. When I read them, I start like, oh, okay, this is going down, and then it's like you have like the opinion part of the article coming out and just going like, oh, well, this is probably the reason. I'm just like, all right. But another part of this controversy, which is fucking wild, because I thought this was going to be like just a one and done, like, hey, this company does this consultation work. Not a lot of people like it, is what it is. One of their employees came out and kind of like criticized Akira Toriyama, who's the creator of Dragon Ball, and unfortunately recently passed away. So rest in peace.
Rest in peace, man.
Yeah, he had a huge influence on a lot of people.
Hell yeah.
Well, basically, they went and said something along the lines of like, if I can remember the exact tweet here. I think I posted it in the notes real quick. Can't find it. Fuck. Basically, they sneak dissed him because of the characters that he created. I think they basically said something along the lines of having the most diverse characters while also having the most offensive characters, which I think was a reference to Mr. Popo. And yeah, that person has since been suspended from Twitter. And I think their account, I think they might have gotten terminated from the company altogether. But pretty much the entire community jumped on him when he made that tweet, like essentially kind of like a backhanded compliment in a way. Like it was disrespectful.
Hella
especially when the man just passed the same day you made that. Like,
yeah.
And there's always going to be like people like that just call out like people who pass away that either celebrate or something or say something somewhat controversial, either for like engagement farming and stuff like that. But yeah, nah, like it's weird that there are gaming companies now that are essentially co-writing core writers and possibly just like, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what the story of like some of these like games are or would be if Sweet Baby didn't have a hand in like tweaking them. So like I don't know. It seems like Sweet Baby was also involved with Starfield at some point.
Apparently they were involved with GTA 6, man.
Are they?
Yeah, I was just reading that before we started this whole conversation.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, so it seems like they have a hand in a lot of, I guess, the writing of stories. So it'll be interesting to see how GTA 6 story differs from like GTA 5's, because GTA is usually a satire on American culture in general. So like if it gets like the story is like washed down a bit, I hope that's not the case. I kind of I like GTA 5 story. I like pretty much all the Grand Theft Auto storylines. But no, like my thing is that like it seems like you have a company here that attacked someone for simply criticizing and making a group that just wanted to make gamers more informed about the decisions they make. I'm not sure how directly affected that Sweet Baby will be affected by this controversy. I doubt it's going to have that much of an impact on them. Like, I don't think companies are going to be like, oh no, let's not work with them anymore, because most of the times when gamers go outrage, it usually fizzles out within like a week or two. But we'll see, because there's a lot of like general discussion. I do want to say though that probably shouldn't like go out and harass these people at all.
Yeah.
Fair criticism is fair criticism. If the game if you didn't like the game and you feel like they're somewhat responsible, you can critique the game, say the writing's not that great. You do you, but death threats, all that shit, not necessary.
Yeah, man. Me personally, the way I feel about this is the same way I feel about a lot of things. I'm one of I'm always one of the people that on Twitter that kind of speak about representation from time to time. I mean, because I think representation is very important. Representation is very important in media, period. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it becomes a problem when it's forced. Yeah. I hate forced fucking, I mean, just you're changing someone's gender just to do it, or you're changing somebody's race in a series that's been out for decades just to do it. Like, I feel like that type of shit is just weird, and it's like sometimes it's like unnecessary. Like, I get what you're trying to do, but at the same time, it's just like it's really not necessary, man. You know what I mean? Like, representation is very important in settings where things need to be properly represented. I can't say the word.
Represented.
Yeah, represented. I mean,
yeah.
I think that's very important, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But when you're blatantly trying to put things in people's faces and you're threatening people to change certain writings and in fear of being canceled and shit, you're only hurting the industry that we all love and care about. You know what I mean? It just does more damage than it does good to not only the cause of more representation, but less representation. You know what I mean? Like, it's just a crazy effect that it's just do things properly and everything will be all right. It's kind of like we've talked about on the podcast before, how with Final Fantasy 16, they caught a lot of flack for not having like any black people in the game and shit like that.
Yeah.
To me, it's like, whatever. It's a fantasy game. Like, I'm not really looking for that. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not really looking for that. What I'm looking for as far as representation in a video game is something like Hogwarts Legacy. If you're going to have black characters, can we have some decent black hairstyles? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Little things like that.
Yeah.
I mean,
especially when it comes to character creation, like games.
Yeah, man. Like,
you should be able to represent who you want to represent,
who you want to be. Same thing with Starfield. With the he, she pronoun thing. That was a whole fucking debacle, man. I mean,
but that's the crazy part. Is like, I don't even see that as a big deal, because I don't really care.
It's not a big deal at all. I don't give a fuck. Like, you could, dog. I don't give a fuck at all, man.
No, like, because it doesn't affect you. If there's he, she, they, them, like, you just pick whatever options are good for you.
Yeah, man.
Just keep it pushing. Like, as long as it's not like it just affects gameplay other than like dialogue, like how they refer to you, dialogue, not like dialogue options and stuff like that. I don't think it'll be like a big deal. And like at the end of the game, at the end of the day, if the game is good, then that's all we really care about. Like, the story can be great. You can have like a main character that be black and also relatable at the same time. Like, it's not a hard thing to do. There's other games that have done it, and I don't see why you need to consulting company to come in and basically try to like add extra shit in. When the writers want to make a certain game, they should just make the game they want to make and just add in shit as they please.
Yeah.
Like, I don't like.
But it's just all of this thing is a thing of the times, right? We live in a weird time where everybody's terrified of being canceled, and they're terrified of, I mean, just all of this shit.
I think the people that are terrified are the just regular people who just like are normal and have normal jobs.
Exactly.
And they don't like, they just say something they're not too well informed about, and then they get canceled for it, and now they lost their job.
100%.
Like that,
100%.
to me, like that's like an extreme reaction to something that could have been easily like, oh, we could educate this person. Now, obviously, if people are going like balls to the wall, they're being like blatantly racist and shit. It's like, bro, what the fuck? Like shit like that, I understand, like to a certain degree, but like sometimes people get canceled over like misunderstandings. This shit is wild.
Yeah, man. So, like, it sucks, man.
Yeah, but
it sucks because it's like I said, I'm a big proprietor and a big voice when it comes to representation, because I do feel like that's important. I think that everybody in all types of cultures or demographics or sexualities, whatever, that shit needs to be represented the right way.
Oh my god!
And trust me, I'm sober. Yeah, I mean, it needs to be represented the right way in media, but it never needs to be forced, man. And it never needs to make, it's the same thing with like comedy, right? How I feel about comedy. Like these comedians nowadays are afraid to say certain jokes because they're afraid of being canceled. But it's literally part of their job to make fun of things. I mean, to poke fun and say little things about, you know, maybe this race or that race. One of my favorite comedians of all time, Dave Chappelle, man, he's fucking hilarious. He started his career of just making fun of the you know, just the black society, you know, and the little dumb things we do, like saying little stupid shit like how we love chicken and watermelon and all that shit. You know what I mean? And it should be funny, man. It should be funny, man. It never once was in my mind like, yo, like that's a little hurtful. You know, don't you think? Like, you hurt my feelings. You know what I mean? Like, nah, man, it's okay to poke fun and laugh at, you know, these things, man. I feel like media is in such under attack. Like free speech, in a sense, is under attack, but I won't get in that because that's just like super political. But I think as far as media goes, and as far as our media that we talk about, which is video games, it's definitely under attack with all this woke media. And the shit's got to stop, man.
I just want games that are good, well written. I don't want like a weird. I guess like I just don't want characters that are just like, it seems like they're forced to be here. And
look at me, I'm black. Look at me, I'm black. Look at me, I'm black. I'm also gay and black. I'm also gay. It's just this. You're doing too much.
There's
man.
Good ways to tell those stories. Like I want to. Netflix released a canceled Disney film called Nimona. Main character is was it? I think he's Latino, but he's also, I think he's gay. But they don't force it down your throat. You know what I mean? They just do it well.
Yeah, like you can visibly see that person is gay.
They make it natural. Like it's not like, oh man, you're shocked about that. Oh, you didn't know. It's like, it's literally just like everyone else looks at it and it's like no problem. And I'm like, all right, that's part of their culture. Like,
no, because that's how life should be. Because that's how life is, man. That's how real life is, man. Mm-hmm. I say it all the time on stream. We're gonna end this podcast on this note. I'm gonna end it on this note for y'all. There are gonna be people out there in this world that are not gonna like you.
Yep.
And they're not gonna accept you. Yep. You know what I mean? And it's fucked up. It's fucked up that we live in a world like this where we just can't love our fellow human, our just another person on this world, regardless of the way they look, the way they speak, where they come from, all of that shit. It's fucked up, dog.
Mm-hmm.
But that is just the world. And sometimes when you put more focus on that, you become part of the problem, dog. When you stop feeding into a lot of this shit that's going on in this world, some of this shit requires the attention that it gets. Some of this shit does. But like 90% of it, dog, doesn't need your fucking attention, dog. And you're just feeding into it and you're literally becoming part of the problem, dog. Live your life, be happy. Don't let nobody tell you how to live your life. Don't ever tell you the way you were born was wrong or the way you feel about yourself is wrong. Live your life, dog. And don't let anybody, number one, don't ever try to force anybody else to believe what you believe, because that's just fucking wrong. You know what I mean? It's just wrong, man. Don't do that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Be yourself, dog.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm a firm believer in just loving everyone, dog. I love everyone equally, man. I love everyone equally. I was taught to love everyone equally. Just do that, man. You know what I mean? Just do that, dog. You know what I mean? Stop feeding into this shit, man. Like, I get tired of it. I mean, I'm on Twitter a lot these days. I'm not on like Instagram as much. I'm more so like on Twitter. And it's just like the shit you see, man, just be like, it's just like, dog, like, is this what we do with our spare time, dog? Like, are these the conversations that we need to have in our spare time? Sometimes it's just like, come on, man.
I just don't really use Twitter, and I
Yeah.
think I'm better for it. So,
And it just sucks that like media and our entertainment has to take a hit because of just these things, man. Like, it just shouldn't be this way. I'd say people all the time, like, I didn't play a lot of that game, but I played enough, like a little bit of it. Mafia 3.
Mhm.
Like, people hated that game because they say the N-word. You know what I mean? But I love that game as a black person. I mean, well, a mixed person, but you know, I'm black and white. But you know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
I love that game because it lives in its truth. That's literally how people talk back in those days, man. It's not like Call of Duty Vanguard, which is in World War II, and there's a black commander that's in charge of a white platoon, and everybody's his best friend. That shit didn't happen back then. That's not real. That's not realistic, man. You know what I mean? I love how Mafia 3 brings, it's not like in your face, like, look at this racism, they're racist. It's just like, dog, it lives in its truth. That's the time period. So they said, hey, these characters are gonna be treated like they were in that time period. There's nothing wrong with that, man. I don't get it, man. Y'all are weird, man. Get off the internet, man. And I hope this Sweet Baby Inc. Company just chills the fuck out. I mean, like I said, I really don't understand their role. I understand it, but I don't. And I just feel like it's unnecessary.
I feel like it's just like, to me, if I was making a game, I wouldn't, like, I would focus on the gameplay first. That would be the majority of like the actual game design budget. Like, you know, you have your marketing stuff, but it's like, I feel like if I'm writing a story, especially compelling narrative, I'm not gonna worry about making sure I highlight certain things in representation. I'm just gonna add characters that are well written, and they'll probably be already a diverse cast of people anyway.
Yeah, which is that's very important, man. That's what I be telling people all the time. Like, dog, when it comes to like all of that other shit, like representation and all that extra shit, like, that comes like last, man. Is the game good? Was the writing good? Was this like that? That's the most important part, man. And I feel like, again, we just live in a weird society, man. Like, just strange society, dog. Like, let these game developers and these game writers write the story they want to write, tell the story they want to tell, and just nobody should be afraid of being canceled, man. Because at the end of the day, just because I may write, I could write a story about Nazis. I mean, that doesn't mean that I'm a Nazi. That just means I wrote a story about Nazis.
There's a whole game about killing Nazis and Klan members, and it's called, what is it, Wolfenstein 2?
Yeah.
And that was a decent game.
Great game. I mean, like I said, man, just live your life, man. Live your life, man. I mean, and let other people live theirs, dog. And don't try to tell people the way they're living their life is wrong and all that shit, man. Just have fun, man, out here.
Yeah, just play good games.
Real shit. Like Helldivers in Final Fantasy.
Yeah, Helldivers. Everybody's united. Fantasy. It's a utopia. We fight for democracy.
I don't know, man. There's a lot of communism in this democracy, man.
There's no fucking communism. I don't know what you're talking about.
All right. And on that note, I'm gonna get the fuck out of here before I become a traitor, man. But
you already are a traitor. Automaton sympathizer, son of a bitch.
What is your closing statement, man? What you got for the listener, man? Before we close.
I mean, it's no different than normal. We don't normally cover like the controversial shit, but like, again, this felt like we needed to talk about it. So like, in the hindsight, I just going to reiterate: no matter how you feel about this situation regarding Sweet Baby, how they're reacting to people criticizing them, and how some of their employees have treated other people, don't send them hate. Criticize them.
Yeah, that's
maybe
not
don't support
right
the
ever.
games that they play, that they made, they worked on, but only if you truly feel like that's. I mean, like if you're not gonna buy Suicide Squad, regardless, because the game's terrible, probably a waste of money anyway.
But, yeah, man.
Yeah, I want to say just
wait till that game's like $20.
Don't send them hate. You can say what you want to say in a public sphere, debate it, all that. But going after people, trying to dox them, all that shit, trying to cancel them and shit is like a little unnecessary to me.
It's a little weird, man.
It is a little weird. It's a little obsessive. Probably should delete Twitter, honestly. It's probably delete X or whatever they call it now. But yeah, just be excellent to each other. Go plant a tree.
Facts, man. That shit's important.
Yeah, trees are important.
And my closing statement is basically reinforcing what I said earlier, man. Just, let people live their lives. You live yours. Be happy, man. And make sure you follow us on our other social medias. At BLAZEDxENFERNO. All of mine are BLAZEDxENFERNO. Twitch.tv. BLAZEDxENFERNO. Instagram. BLAZEDxENFERNO. Fucking everything's BLAZEDxENFERNO, man. Everything. And then Eknight, make sure you check him out at Couch Combat. His YouTube channel going crazy. He dropping daily content almost every day.
Yeah.
Damn near every day. So make sure you go over there, show him love. Check that out. Check out his Instagram page, which is also doing crazy numbers at Couch Combat. Couch _combat. Check that shit out, man. Great content. We just had an incredible fucking Friday night fight just passed. It was great. We had a good time with everybody. I appreciate everybody came out. We got Baldur's Gate. No Baldur's Gate this week, but we'll be back to that maybe next week.
We'll
Possibly
see.
Next week. Yeah, we got to see. Yeah. But we're having a great time with that. I think I'm going to put the VOD up from when we was playing that the other night because that was a lot of fun and that was funny.
Dude,
a lot of shit happened.
A lot of shit happened. A lot of unfortunate shit happened.
Yeah, man. But I think that's the beauty of that game, man. I really like that game.
That is the beauty of. That's why I made that rule. Where whatever happens unless we wipe. That is it.
Yeah, man. I think that's a great rule too, man. I'm glad you implemented that.
Yeah, so we're gonna see some sort of playthrough that I've never experienced.
Yeah.
It's gonna be wild.
Shit looking spooky, man.
It is not looking great. I'm pretty sure Housen was like a follower, so we killed that dude.
Yeah, man.
Rest in peace, the druid guy.
And then Minerva's dead, right?
Nah, she's unconscious.
Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah, so I think she when you do that, she appears in like the following act. and you can
Okay.
recruit her.
Yeah.
So
House
yeah,
is just dead. All
House
right.
is just, even though we knocked him out because certain someone pissed him off,
My bad.
all I asked you to do was stall.
My bad, man.
But all right, I'm gonna go to
We
sleep.
out of here, man. Y'all take it easy. Have a good rest of your day, night, whatever you're doing. And remember those links in the description. Peace out, y'all. Have a good night.
Okay, bye.